young. I know there's a woman who's turned 75 next week is running. She's in there somewhere amongst the crowd. And there can't be long to go now. What, about 2 minutes to go to the Sun City to Surf. The front runners, of course, are the biggest chances, those who've proven by their times that they'll be getting off to a quick start. And those up the back, there'll be some interesting ladies running today, Terry.
Yes, I gather that Miss Tokyo's running, as well as a playmate, and also Karen Pinney's in there. So I don't know where they'll finish, and we probably won't see them, but
oh, yes, there's
they're lacing the field.
What a shame we couldn't be there today. Well, there'll be a lot of nerves there at the front. And what would they be thinking, Terry, those front runners? Do they just have to get away quickly?
Well, they're the seated runners we're looking at now. They'd be thinking of maintaining contact but staying relaxed, making sure they don't overstride, so that when they get past the first 800 metres, they're into a rhythm and not in too much oxygen debt. That's the essence of their race plans, I'd say.
And we have a minute to go to the start of the Sun City to Surf. A lot of nervous people, more than 30,000 of them, men, women and children. As I said, the oldest about 77. In fact, last year's, the oldest competitor last year was a man who was 88 years of age. He took part, and there they are again, ready for this year.
One of the things people might be interested in, Terry, is the colours of the numbers. The seeded runners, who are numbers 1 to 200, have a blue number colour. The preferred runners, red, and the ordinary runner has I think a white number plate, but we'll pick them up shortly.
20 seconds to go. Our helicopter in position, all our cameras in position, 15 seconds to go. 10, 9, 8, they're off. Off and running in the 1984 Sun City to Surf, and they're really moving. A good start, Terry?
Yes, I can't pick out any falls there, although I'm sure 1 or 2 have occurred.
Like all little bloody eggs.
Yeah, commentary there from a volunteer. Some of the fun runners in there as well. There doesn't appear to have been any great mishaps as they head off.
There's bound to be a few falls and something like that, but up front they're starting to thin out. We won't be able to tell much about how the race is going until they come through the William Street Tunnel over the other side down towards Rushcutters Bay. See any of your friends there, Terry?
Yeah, I think there's Karen Pinney again. She's waving.
I think we worked out last year that it takes something like 10 minutes for the back marker to cross the starting line. So some of them would still be standing there at the moment.
Oh, well, I guess some of them could only run as fast as the person in front of them. No clear leaders, although there's no breakaway group at all there at this stage, too early.
Oh, yes. And what you find, too, is that those runners who aren't going to be able to sustain a fast pace often get carried away in the first half mile or so and maintain contact with the leaders. But pretty soon after that, they start to drop back into what will be their steady pace for the race. Here's Lloyd in front, leading from Jodie Kearns there, another fun run champion in Sydney this year, and I think in third place is Adam Hoyle, the 21-year-old Victorian I mentioned.
So no surprises?
Well, not at this stage, no. Lloyd seems to have gone out very fast. Those three had a break on the rest of the field, so I guess he's going for a time.
Will many of the other runners be aiming at a set time or just there just for a run?
I think most of the runners who can break 60 minutes or so, and even those a bit slower, would be looking to improve on their personal best. That's one of the things about these fun runs.
Are they competitors?
Yes, they're people still at the start.
Oh, no. So they'll be there for how long?
I think last year Gary Wilkinson and I worked out it was about 10 minutes before the last person got across. We might have another look at that later and see how long they're standing there for.
They've got a lot of catching up to do.
That's right. Those people won't be setting any personal bests.
Well, it could be a good excuse, couldn't it?
That's right.
They wouldn't put me up the front, no. It's an amazing sight. This is my first Sun City to surf. I haven't seen this before. It's quite a sight. Imagine if you're a newcomer to Sydney and opened your front door one Sunday morning and 30,000 people were running past. Gee, what a health crazy nation this is.
As that spontaneous commentator at the start said, they do look like a lot of ants, don't they, as they come down that William Street. Now, if we can get a shot soon, we should see who the main contenders are early on. At this stage last year, Andrew Lloyd was already in front from Zeph Nakubi, who came second, and David Forbes, the third place getter, was up there with him. Here's Lloyd, Jody Kearns, New Zealander, based in Sydney, coming second there. The fellow in the yellow and gold we can see is Brian Lurie, a Victorian who's represented Australia in the international cross country. The runner in third, I think, is Hoyle. I can't make out his chest number. Another runner I saw there, the blonde-headed boy, Quentin Morley, was one of those who I said was an up-and-comer who finished second to Lloyd in the state cross-country the weekend before last. So the favoured runners are up there at the moment. There's not much between them. No doubt they'll sort themselves out in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Kearns pushing the pace with Lloyd. I don't think Kearns will stay there for more than about 10 minutes of the race. He doesn't have the credentials to challenge Lloyd in the long run. Those other runners aren't too far behind, though, and one of them may come through to keep contact with Lloyd.
The policeman's got his transistor turned on, I think. They wouldn't be thinking about music or crowd distractions at this stage. It would just be the thoughts of holding off those other runners.
Well, one of the interesting things, Terry, is they've done surveys of marathon runners. The ordinary marathon runners, the people who make up the field, they think about things like what they're going to do tomorrow around the house or what entertainment's coming up. The top runners think only of how their body's feeling and where they are in relation to the other competitors. So those fellows up front will be concentrating very hard on the race.
30,000 people heading through Sydney at the moment, so if you're planning to go to town, don't do it just now. But in 40 minutes, or less than that now, but 40 minutes from the start, they'll be, around about that time, they'll be hitting the finish line at Bondi.
They've been going for 5 minutes and 37, and Lloyd looks as though he's already broken away. Very easy style, Lloyd. Quicker tempo in his running as distance runners, but very fluent. So Lloyd in front from the Victorian Hoyle. Hoyle must have thought he had a chance, or he would not have come up from Melbourne for this. As we said earlier, there's no actual money attached to this race. See Danny Bolt's in that second bunch now. Year-old Sydney runner who ran the 2:15 marathon just 2 months ago in June. Lloyd, Hoyle, Bolts, Morley, Lurie from Victoria. He's from Ballarat, Lurie.
Andrew looks as though he's running within himself.
Looks very comfortable. Looks like they're going up the hill here, I guess coming into Double Bay, Edgecliff Way.
I expect with runners of their calibre, they don't let up on those hills, because that's where you can lose it.
Well, and the hills are the place to break away. This is typically De Castella's strategy. Last year in the race, I thought that Nakubi might beat Lloyd, but Lloyd got away from him on Heartbreak Hill, which comes about 2/3 of the way into the race. And no doubt Lloyd will be looking to make a very big move at that stage if he's not already well clear of the field.
You're watching the Sun City to Surf race. Four.